The night I realized my marriage was already dead, my husband was asleep beside me, breathing softly like nothing in the world was wrong, while I lay awake staring at the ceiling, silently apologizing to a love that no longer wanted me. That's how quiet it was when everything fell apart. No screaming, no slammed doors, just the unbearable sound of someone staying without being present. Before we continue, drop your city and time in the comments, and thanks for listening to my story. Now back to the story. I'm telling you this now, not because it ended that night, but because that was the moment I understood something terrifying. I loved him more after he stopped loving me. Let me take you back to when love still lived in the room. We met in Chicago, back when life felt wide open and forgiving. His name was Ethan Walker, and he had this calm confidence that made you feel safe just standing next to him. Not loud, not flashy, just steady. I was Emily Walker back then, Emily Hart before the last name changed, working late shifts at a downtown marketing firm, dreaming bigger than my paycheck. He found me one rainy evening at a corner diner off Michigan Avenue, the kind with cracked vinyl booths and burnt coffee that somehow tasted perfect at midnight. He slid into the booth across from me like we'd known each other for years. "You always look like you're arguing with your thoughts," he said, nodding at my notebook. I laughed, surprised. "And you always interrupt strangers?" "Only the interesting ones." That was Ethan. Gentle confidence, quiet charm. We built a life the American way, brick by brick, weekend by weekend. A small apartment first, IKEA furniture, cheap wine, late-night laughter. Then the wedding in a backyard in Evanston, string lights hanging from trees, my mom crying before the vows even started. He held my hands and promised to always choose me, and I believed him the way you believe gravity will always pull you down. For years, he did choose me. Or at least, it felt that way. The drift didn't announce itself. It never does. It arrived disguised as overtime, exhaustion, silence that felt temporary. Ethan got promoted. Bigger role, more responsibility. He started coming home later, phone glued to his ear, tie loosened, eyes already somewhere else. I told myself it was normal, that this was adulthood, marriage evolving. I became quieter about my needs. I stopped asking why he didn't touch me the way he used to. I stopped pointing out how he scrolled through his phone during dinner. I told myself love meant patience. And so, I loved harder. I learned his moods the way you learn weather patterns. If his shoulders were tight, I kept things light. If he was distant, I leaned in gently. I became an expert at protecting his peace, even when it cost me my own. When friends asked how we were doing, I smiled before answering. "He's just stressed," I'd say. "Work's been crazy." I never told them how lonely it felt sitting beside someone who no longer looked at me. Some nights, he fell asleep on the couch with the TV still on. I'd cover him with a blanket, kiss his forehead, and whisper goodnight, even though he couldn't hear me. I loved him in ways that required nothing in return. That's the dangerous part of unbalanced love. You start confusing sacrifice with strength. We still shared a bed, but not a world. Conversations became logistics, bills, groceries, schedules. The "I miss you" disappeared first, then the "I love you." One night, standing in our kitchen under harsh fluorescent light, I finally said it out loud. "I feel like I'm losing you." He didn't look up from his phone. "I'm right here, Em." Right there. Not with me. That sentence followed me for months. He was physically present but emotionally unavailable, like a house with lights on and nobody home. Still, I stayed. Still, I tried. I remembered who we were. I remembered the way he used to trace circles on my wrist when we drove. the way he'd bring me coffee in bed on Sundays. I carried those memories like proof that love hadn't vanished. It was just buried. I protected his image. I laughed at his jokes when others were around. I held his hand in public so no one would notice the distance. And slowly, quietly, I disappeared. There's a specific kind of pain that comes from loving someone who no longer fights for you. It's not sharp, it's heavy. It settles into your chest and makes breathing feel like work. The breaking point didn't come from betrayal. It came from indifference. One evening, I stood in our bedroom holding a dress I'd bought weeks earlier. Black, simple, something he once would have noticed. "Does this look okay?" I asked softly. He glanced up for half a second. "Yeah, fine." Then his eyes went back to the screen. That was it. Not dramatic, just final. That night, lying next to him, listening to his breathing, I felt something change inside me. Love was still there, but it was exhausted. I realized I had been the only one holding us together, and if I let go, everything would collapse. So I held on tighter, not because it was healthy, but because I was afraid of what would happen if I stopped. Weeks later, he forgot our anniversary. Not just the date, the meaning. I didn't remind him, I didn't cry, I went to work like it was any other day. That night, he noticed the flowers I'd bought for myself sitting on the table. "Oh," he said, "was today?" "Yeah," I replied. "It was." He apologized, quickly, casually, and I realized something terrifying. He wasn't cruel, he just didn't care enough anymore. That's when love becomes dangerous, when it exists in only one heart. I began planning my exit in silence. Not with anger, with grief. I sorted through memories when he wasn't home. Old photos, ticket stubs, cards with his handwriting. I cried quietly so he wouldn't hear me. I still cooked his favorite meals. Still did his laundry. Still defended him when my mother said I looked tired. Because even as he stopped loving me, I loved him harder than ever. And here's the part nobody talks about. Loving someone after they stop loving you doesn't make you weak. It makes you human. But it does break you. Slowly, invisibly. The night before I left, I watched him sleep and realized something that hurt more than any argument ever could. If I disappeared tomorrow, he wouldn't notice right away. That thought settled in my chest like truth. So I packed a bag quietly. Not to punish him, not to make a statement. I left because loving him was killing me, and he didn't even feel it. When I stood at the door, hand on the knob, I looked back one last time. He was still asleep, peaceful, unaware. I didn't cry then. I already had enough. I walked out carrying years of unreturned love, and behind me, unknowingly, I left the only thing that had been holding him together. And that's where part one ends. He didn't notice the silence at first. That's the cruel thing about being emotionally absent. You don't feel the absence you caused. The house stayed standing. The lights still worked. The fridge still hummed. The world didn't collapse the way I imagined it might. Ethan woke up that morning expecting routine. Coffee brewed automatically, shoes by the door, keys where they always were. He didn't realize something was wrong until he called my name, and the sound didn't come back to him. Em? Nothing. At first he assumed I'd gone out early. Work, errands, life. Then he noticed the coffee machine was empty. No note on the counter, no lunch packed in the fridge. The house felt hollow. Not dramatic, just wrong. He checked the bedroom. My side of the bed untouched, the closet lighter than it should have been. That's when panic finally reached him, but softly, like a delayed echo. He called my phone, straight to voicemail. He texted, Nothing. For hours, he told himself stories that didn't scare him. She needed space. She was staying with a friend. She'd come back. He went to work anyway, sat through meetings, answered emails, pretended the world hadn't shifted slightly off its axis. That night, he came home expecting me to be there. I wasn't. And for the first time in years, Ethan felt alone. Days passed, then a week. The fridge emptied, laundry piled up. The house stopped feeling maintained. He ordered takeout every night, eating in silence, staring at the spot where I used to sit. That's when the memories started coming back, not the big ones, but the quiet details. The way I folded his socks, the way I listened when he complained about work, the way I laughed at his bad jokes even when I was tired. Those things had been invisible to him while they were happening. Now they haunted him. He found the note eventually, not dramatic, not accusing, just honest. I loved you longer than I should have. I stayed when I was lonely. I protected you while breaking myself. I'm leaving to save what's left of me. No anger, no blame. That hurt more than anything. Ethan read it sitting on the edge of the bed, hands shaking, heart racing with a realization he was far too late to catch. I hadn't left suddenly. I had been leaving for years. He called me again. Left voicemails this time. Emily, I don't know what happened. I miss you. Please call me back. Those words tasted strange in his mouth, unpracticed, delayed. I listened to those voicemails from a small apartment across town. Bare walls, secondhand furniture, a silence that felt heavy, but honest. Hearing his voice didn't feel like relief. It felt like grief catching up. I didn't respond. Not because I was cruel, but because I was done explaining my pain to someone who only heard it after it stopped serving him. Ethan began unraveling quietly. Not publicly, not dramatically. Friends noticed first. He stopped laughing, stopped showing up, stopped pretending he was fine. Work suffered. Sleep disappeared. The calm confidence that once defined him cracked under the weight of his own neglect. One night, months later, he sat alone at a bar off Lakeshore Drive. The kind of place we used to love. He watched couples talk across tables, watched women lean into men who were actually present, and for the first time, he understood something unbearable. He hadn't lost a wife. He had lost the only person who ever loved him without conditions. That realization doesn't come gently. It comes like regret, slow, suffocating, impossible to undo. He replayed moments in his head. Every time I reached for him and he looked away. Every conversation he half listened to. Every night I went to bed feeling invisible. He remembered the dress, the anniversary, the way my eyes dulled over time. And suddenly, the silence made sense. He drove home that night with tears blurring the road, realizing the truth most people learn too late. Love doesn't disappear all at once. It dies in pieces. By the time you notice, it's already gone. He tried to fix things then. Started therapy. Cut back at work. Began learning how to feel again. But growth without accountability doesn't bring people back. He wrote me letters he never sent. Pages filled with apologies that arrived years too late. I didn't know what I had. I thought you'd always be there. That sentence broke him when he wrote it, because it revealed the truth he couldn't escape. He had mistaken my endurance for permanence. Meanwhile, I was learning how to breathe again. Slowly, carefully. I cried in grocery stores, in traffic, in the quiet moments when memory surprised me. But something was different now. The pain no longer came from loving someone who didn't see me. It came from healing someone who finally saw me, but no longer had access to me. Months passed, then a year. We ran into each other one fall afternoon on a street lined with amber leaves. No music, no dramatic timing, just life. He looked thinner, older, softer in ways that came from loss. "Emily," he said, voice catching. I nodded. "Ethan." We stood there, two people shaped by the same love, but living in different futures. "I understand now," he said quietly. "I understand everything." I believed him, and that's what made it so tragic. "I'm glad," I replied. He waited for more. An opening, a door. It didn't come. We said goodbye like adults who had loved deeply and learned painfully. No promises, no anger, just acceptance. That night, I realized something important. Love doesn't always fail. Sometimes it finishes its work. I had loved him harder when he loved me less. I had endured when he withdrew. I had stayed until staying erased me. And leaving didn't make me heartless. It saved me. As for Ethan, he became a better man, just not for me. That was his lesson. Some people are not meant to grow together. Some are meant to grow because of what they lose. I loved him longer than he deserved, but not longer than I deserved myself. And if there's one thing I know now, it's this. The most dangerous love isn't the one that leaves loudly. It's the one that dies quietly while pretending to survive. That was our story. And walking away was the bravest thing I ever did.